Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a judge executive says local governments are not able to move forward with federal grants. And President Donald Trump awarded Charlie Kirk with the nation's highest civilian honor.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you, Mountain family. I'm Amelia Lee here with you on this October 15th. We are just about at 5 o'clock this morning, and it is time for a check of our weather with meteorologist Megan Dusmall. And Megan, it's been a bit cooler now that you're back. Haha, I have to say, it's cold.
Yeah, I did not like returning to the colder weather. I was in Florida, so definitely a big difference in those temperatures. But yes, definitely off to a cooler start as you're heading into your day. And for most folks, we're seeing a lot of fog. So here's what we're looking at for that current visibility. You'll notice as you're traveling more into West Virginia, that's where the densest fog will be hanging out this morning. So just keep your eyes out as you're heading on the road. But we are looking nice and clear as we are starting off on satellite and radar, and we're going to continue to stay clear throughout the rest of your work week. Not really going to see the rain returning until a late Saturday night going into your Sunday, when we're starting to see those storm chances re-enter the forecast. But as we're talking temperatures, yes, it's a bit on the chilly side. We're seeing a lot of 40s out and about. 47 in Pikeville, 48 in Whitesburg, 46 in Hazard, and we're just going to see those temperatures warm up as we're heading into the afternoon. Nice and fall-like. Definitely like to see these temperatures, mixture of the 70s, warmer as you travel more towards the west, some upper 70s chances, and cooler as you travel more towards the east, looking at some upper 60s. Amelia.
This morning, Hamas is facing new threats from Washington and Tel Aviv after turning over just 8 bodies of the remaining deceased hostages. 20 more bodies are still believed to be in Gaza. On social media, President Donald Trump wrote, "The job is not done. The dead have not been returned as promised." The president also warns that Hamas could face consequences if it doesn't disarm. CBS's Jared Hill has more from New York.
Just days into the historic Middle East peace deal, frustration is growing. Hamas has returned only a handful of remains of deceased hostages held in Gaza.
I want them back.
Tuesday, President Trump demanded that Hamas hand over the rest of the bodies, writing on social media, "The job is not done." The president also issued this threat after Hamas rejected calls to give up its weapons, a key term of phase 2 of the ceasefire deal.
If they don't disarm, we will disarm them. And it'll happen quickly and perhaps violently. But they will disarm.
In an exclusive CBS News interview, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the fragile agreement depends on Hamas keeping its word.
First, Hamas has to give up its arms. And second, you want to make sure that there are no weapons factories inside Gaza. There's no smuggling of weapons into Gaza. That's demilitarization. I hope we can do this peacefully.
Both Hamas and the Red Cross have warned that the destruction in Gaza has made it difficult to recover some of the bodies, and the process will take time. Israel had threatened to reduce the number of aid trucks allowed into Gaza after Hamas initially returned just 4 bodies. After Hamas handed over the remains of 4 more late Tuesday, Israeli news reported that the country has decided to reopen the Rafah crossing with Egypt to allow in more food and supplies. Jared Hill, CBS News.
The Hostages and Missing Families Forum, a group representing the hostage families, called for the peace plan to be suspended until every deceased individual is returned. Though one family member of a deceased hostage told Reuters that going back to war would not be an option. The Kentucky Jewish Council was happy to hear about the release of hostages, thanking God for their safety now and for the strength they showed while in captivity.
Unquestionably, the freedom of these 20 men came from God, but that miracle could not have come through anyone else besides Donald Trump. It is truly remarkable to see America's influence and power being used for so positive a reason.
He says the Jewish community in Kentucky will be celebrating the release of the hostages. With the government shutdown now in its 3rd week, worry is starting to creep in for families across the country. Federal workers are starting to live off of partial pay as food assistance programs are running out of money. And House Speaker Mike Johnson is warning the impasse could be the longest to date, with Republicans and Democrats still struggling to find a way forward.
I don't make nearly as much as my husband, not even half. So it's going to be rough.
These are unserious proposals from unserious people, and they are playing games while real Americans are being harmed adversely by the shutdown.
Lawmakers will continue to get paid through the shutdown, though Capitol Police have missed their first full paycheck. A judge executive says local governments are not able to move forward with federal grants and Medicaid, the emergency medical services that take people who have Medicaid to the hospital get reimbursed. As of now, the county hopes to be reimbursed for the hundreds of ambulance runs EMTs do a month, since that money is on hold right now.
If we were, as a county, to risk the Medicaid eligible funding for our ambulance service, it would be a big hit to our revenues that could challenge our EMS budget. Ultimately, we're going to make sure that we pay our paramedics and our EMTs. We're not going to be like the federal government and shut down or furlough anybody. We're going to keep everybody out there saving lives and doing their jobs.
Woodford County Judge Executive James Kay says this Medicaid funding hold is different than the federal cuts from the Big Beautiful Bill, and they hope the county will get the money back once the government reopens. President Donald Trump awarded Charlie Kirk with the nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. In the White House Rose Garden, the president presented the medal to Kirk's wife, Erica Kirk. Tuesday would have been the conservative activist's 32nd birthday. Kirk, who was a friend and political ally of President Donald Trump, was assassinated last month during a speaking event at Utah Valley University.
Today we're here to honor and remember a fearless warrior for liberty, beloved leader who galvanized the next generation like nobody I've ever seen before, and an American patriot of the deepest conviction, the finest quality and the highest caliber, the late, great Charlie Kirk.
The House and Senate approved resolutions last month, making yesterday a National Day of Remembrance for Kirk. A crowd in Laurel County gathered for a candlelight vigil last night to remember the late Charlie Kirk. The Laurel County Republican Women's Club sponsored the vigil. Another one was held Monday night in Leslie County, and several have been held in eastern Kentucky since his assassination. Instagram has announced a new policy aimed at protecting kids online. Beginning yesterday, Instagram's teen users will only see content on the app that's similar to what they might see while watching a film with a PG-13 rating. The site will hide or limit more mature or sensitive content for those under 18, like swear words, risky stunts, and accounts that routinely post adult content. Every teen account will automatically be opted in.
Really what we wanted to do was speak the language of parents, and parents really know and understand movie rating standards. We train artificial intelligence to be able to find and remove the kind of content that a teen shouldn't see, or make sure that they're not seeing content that would be inappropriate for a teen.
Instagram's parent company Meta says parents will have the ability to make these controls even more restrictive, but cannot read the conversations their teens have on the app. Tossing out lithium batteries can be a real fire hazard, especially when they're hidden inside old gadgets like toys or laptops. A recycling plant in England is using AI to stop the danger before it starts. AI-powered cameras scan electronic waste on conveyor belts, and when they spot a battery, a quick blast of air knocks it out of the pile. Engineers say the smart system can detect all kinds of batteries and even help recover valuable metals before they're lost to the landfill.
And at the moment, we're throwing too many of them away, which is crazy. Why this new sort of technology and innovation to recover more materials is just simply common sense. It'll drive the economy and it'll protect the environment.
Here in the U.S., AI is increasingly being used in recycling, though the focus so far has been more about sorting plastics and metals. Loneliness and social isolation could increase the risk of dying from cancer. A study published by the British Medical Journal found that cancer patients who experience loneliness face an 11% greater risk of death. It's believed the stress response of isolation can negatively impact the immune system. Loneliness is also associated with cognitive problems and sleep disorders. Well, thanks so much for getting your day started with us on Mountain News this morning at 5:09. The Kentucky Public Service Commission held a public meeting about another increase request from Kentucky utilities. We'll explain that coming up.
And we're continuing to see nice fall-like weather today.
We all know some